Hello, my name is Alexander Norta and I'm a researcher at Tallinn University of Technology. And I'm here today to talk about a paper which we published and presented last year at the IEEE Services Symposium in Anchorage in the United States. And for this paper, the paper title is An Agent-Oriented Method for Designing Large Socio-Technical Service Ecosystems. I have co-authors Msuri Mahuna, Tanol Tenso and Kuldar Tavita from my informatics department here in Tallinn, and then Nanshanguts Narendra from cognizant technology in Bangalore, India. The motivation for this paper was that there's a lack of a multi-paradigm modeling approach for designing cyber-physical systems. And we stuck our heads together to think about how such a model-based design for large socio-technical systems could work. And note that cyber-physical systems as such that involve Internet of Things, sensors, smart objects, governance systems are inherently socio-technical because there are also humans in the loop who are users. Let me show you that right away. So again, you can find paper online. If you Google for the title, you will find an entry in the search results. So let me jump first to figure 2. We took a rich case which was relevant enough for reasoning about a suitable multi-paradigm modeling approach for large socio-technical systems. And the concrete case is an elderly emergency healthcare scenario. If we assume in a sparsely populated area to have a home for elderly, and they require still good healthcare provision. So the case was actually, I started thinking about it in Oulu, which is close to the Arctic Circle, and so it's really sparsely populated. If there are healthcare issues, the experts might be in Helsinki or in Stockholm or maybe here in Tallinn. And the question is how to still bring them in a remote way. Also, the nearest hospital that is correctly equipped for a specific case might be far off. And so we have to find the optimal emergency healthcare for a specific healthcare case that occurs. We assume that the nurses are equipped with mobile devices that are wirelessly connected. The patients are periodically checked, their data is stored, so the healthcare records. And when an emergency scenario occurs, then a certain template is triggered. So the idea is that you have a cloud in the middle, there's a service hub, and a certain collaboration template is then triggered that first facilitates the diagnosis by some healthcare experts, and then based on that, the optimal hospital is already correctly equipped in terms of the ambulance car or the helicopter that needs to be brought along to pick up the elder so that the elder can immediately have good care during transportation, and the hospital is then ideally equipped and prepared correctly for further on healthcare. So we're dealing here with quite a delicate and critical information logistics scenario. Since this is a highly distributed collaboration scenario with a lot of smart objects involved, we took an agent-oriented modeling approach, and we first designed a goal hierarchy, which you can see in figure 3 with the value proposition to provide good healthcare. Please read the paper yourself for the details, but just very briefly, the functional goals are depicted parallelograms, and the clouds are quality goals, and then you have roles involved that are sticky men. And so this is required as a first step to really understand how the requirements are related to each other for designing such a system. Important is also in figure 4 to understand how the agents, human and software agents, relate to each other. As part of agent-oriented modeling, we employed a merged agent and acquaintance model to understand what the protocol is between these different agents, which you see here in figure 4. So you have a transporter, you have a nurse, elderly, a medical specialist, and a general practitioner, who are all equipped with assistants that communicate each other in a smart way. Figure 5 then shows the knowledge model for such an emergency healthcare scenario. So here we have the agent types, and the arrows denote which knowledge elements they need to tap in order to operate on behalf of the human agents. This could then be further refined into domain models and so forth, and broken down in into concrete data models, but this is out of scope for this paper. Then based on that, we had to think in figure 6 about a suitable collaboration model, which you can see in the depiction. So the idea is here that you have a business network model with so-called service types included. Service type A is for the elderly home, where the nurse captures an emergency healthcare case. The idea is to have then for diagnosis a private practice with specialists, medical specialists get involved and perform a diagnosis, and then to the right you see a service type of a hospital. So concrete service offers need to be matched to establish one sound collaboration model for enactment. And then as a last step, we thought about an architecture on which really this collaboration could run with a toolkit. Preferably nowadays this would run, of course, in clouds. So this architecture is actually derived from a reference architecture which I talk about in a separate video, which you can also view on this e-learning platform. And this architecture is called the e-sourcing reference architecture, which I published about in a separate journal paper. And here you see 3 packages, one for elderly home, then for the private practice that performs the diagnosis, and the hospital. There's a component with the service hub in the middle, where the service types can be matched with service offers. The idea is that you have an external collaboration layer, and then a conceptual layer with larger processes that get really concretely enacted during runtime. And then in addition, each of these organizations have their own legacy management systems, so certain databases, maybe some workflow systems, healthcare records, management systems, and so forth, that need to become part of this elaborate information logistics scenario. So this is basically it. Again, let me show you the title of the paper. It's called An Agent-Oriented Method for Designing Large Socio-Technical Service Issues, and there's still a lot of ongoing work. So if you want to know more about it, you can always drop me a question. Just Google search engine for my name, and please contact me for further collaboration and pushing this work further. Thank you very much.